Good evening. I am Amadine Obewe. Now, the governorship elections have held and results are still trickling in and announcements being made, but there have been varying reactions to the results so far. Tonight, I'll be taking a look and a listen to one of the stakeholders of the election, that is the Labour Party. The Labour Party acting youth leader joins me tonight, Prince Kennedy Ahanotu, to speak on the Labour Party's reactions to some of these results and how his party has fared this election cycle. All right, Prince Kennedy, good evening and welcome to Top Talk.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, the elections are about over and I think there are still few results and announcements trickling in. What's your general overview and your assessment of this process, especially in comparison to February 25 elections?
Well, with what happened on 25th, majority of Nigerian citizens were looking up to a very wonderful outing during the governorship election, even though it was also extended by 1 week. So it made us believe that it's going to be a very, very, very good outing. But to my amazement, this is a matter of personal assessment. I was not satisfied. I'm not satisfied with the conduct of that election because I saw a lot of anomalies. I saw a lot of things that that repeated, despite the corrections and the promise made by Mahmoud-led INEC that the governorship and state houses of assembly will be an improved experience. And rather, it became more bloody. It became more, it became more confusing for a governorship election not to be announced for 3-4 days. It made it look as if it's a childish play. After election, people voted and the people know who they voted. And INEC seems to be the decider of who should rule the people or who should be the people's governor now. Because after election, they find it difficult to declare results. And you see a lot of manipulations. For example, the Aba Obiungwa magic, is there for the public to see that INEC is highly compromised, manipulated, and...
For those who don't know, what are you talking about?
Obiungwa election, Abia election, you see that Labour Party was already ahead with a very clear large number of votes difference. But at some point, they brought a local government result with over 100 and something thousand from a particular local government to upturn the existing result. And if not for the cleverness and bravery of a woman who happened to be the returning officer in Abia State, who said, how can this be possible? Where in the State House of Assembly, this is number of votes returned from this particular place. In the other elections, this is the number of votes returned from across all the local government. How come that this particular local government is now bringing in over 100,000 votes from a particular local government? This has to be questioned. As you are aware, you're a media person. They have to bring all of them, including the participants, the agents, and the beavers that was used in that particular government, to Abuja for Mahmoud himself and his team to test from here, which means that even Mahmoud is not confident in what they have given to Nigerians. Because ordinarily, if there is any issue, the electoral officer there and the collation officer should be able to resolve it and announce the result to people. So bringing them to Abuja means that there is a level of compromise, in that INEC system. That means that what they have done in the presidential election was a sham, because it's a proof that there was a lot of addition and manipulation of numbers in the election. And that was why, if you remember, during the collation for presidential election, Dino was shouting. Farouk Umar, National Secretary of Labour Party, we are shouting. People were shouting. Even the former governor of Imo State, we are shouting. All the agents of other police, we are shouting, sir, you are running too fast. There is a fundamental error. These numbers are not tallying with numbers that our agents are turning in. And this man didn't listen. Mahmoud didn't listen, and he announced the results. So this governorship election opened many things up. it proved that what actually happened in that presidential election was still what happened in this governorship election. It's just that the election was so close to people, and people monitored it very well, more effectively, and that brought about the hijack of this their business as usual kind of turning in result. You know.
All right. So, what do you make of cases where there were reports of violence? We saw some Labour Party agents, some of them in various conditions. Is this an issue that you feel can be surmounted? And do you think that it was targeted at your party, or it was because a lot of people try to make it look as though it's two fighting. It isn't a case of victim and offender.
It was not two fighting because Labour Party. If you say Labour Party is fighting you, the person is a joke, because a party that is not in power does not have the paraphernalia of power, does not have the control of the DSS, does not have the control of the police, does not have the control of the army, does not give command of operation. How do you say that that party is fighting you? The party in power, it was so clear, they used all the powers they have, including the incumbency, power of incumbency, the control of the DSS, the control of the army, to fight and oppress Nigerians. And it is so unfortunate that it's only this part of the world in Nigeria that people will force themselves to the people they want to rule. I think it's a selection. It's a vote process. The will of the people must be the determining factor in this process. It's not, I have control of police. For example, after voting in my local government, I saw people were being pushed away by military officers, police officers. A lot of people were beaten up. Look at our people in Lagos. Many young people were brutally, injured. People died in Lagos. Some areas, hoodlums attacked them and insisted that the election would not take place in those areas. And you say it's two fighting. It's not two fighting. Labour Party supporters are very peaceful people. They are Nigerians who believe that Nigeria have suffered a lot, and they believe that the time for change, proper change, has come. And that was why I kept saying that they never saw it coming. It's not that music. They never see us. They never saw this coming. But they knew that this injustice, they always mete out to Nigerian youth, to Nigerians women, that one day it must come to an end. But they never knew that the Nigerian youth have summoned such a courage to challenge the status quo. And that was why initially they were calling the movement 4 people tweeting in a room. But when they realized it, after the wonderful performance that Nigerian youth put up in Lagos, they now knew that it's no longer business as usual. So they resorted to using thuggery, to using the power, the paraphernalia of power which they have, which is the police and the thugs and all manner of what have you, to now intimidate the voters. For example, the non-declaration of people's mandate in the presidential election caused a lot of voter apathy. Most people didn't come out to vote in this governorship election. Even those that came out to vote, the moment they come out and saw that there is an attack going on, they go back to their houses.
So you feel both happened? So some Labour Party persons have explained that it wasn't actually apathy, it was that they were threatened to stay indoors.
It is fear. So a lot of things can cause voters apathy. When you don't believe in the process, it can make you not to come out. When you are threatened, it can make you not to come out. Even rain. Some people can say that they are allergic to rain. So a lot of things can stop people from not coming out to vote. So, but in this case, 2 things that are fundamental that make people not to come out and vote is, number 1, the non-declaration of people's mandate on 25th. And 2, the notices of threats that if you come out, we'll maim you, we'll deal with you, especially in Lagos, where a prominent individual, known in the transport sector, came out openly and were threatening citizens, indigents, and people in Lagos.
How big of an effect do you think that had? And not just what he said, the response of the police, where they called it. I think the last time we talked, we had not heard the response of the police. But the police actually said, let's take it as a joke. Do you think that might have affected, the dimension of things in Lagos?
Yes, police will take it as a joke because it's coming from quarters where you can't question command. That is why you saw a threat, an open threat as a joke. In intelligence, it's unbelievable that you take a threat, you call it empty threat. There is no empty threat in this, because even the Bible that I read said, out of the abundance of the heart does the mouth speak it. So for a man to speak out anything, that is why what you don't mean, don't say. And what you don't say, that means you don't mean it. So, but once a man says something out, he must have thought of it. An adult saying anything, he thoughtfully, said it. So you can't say, let's take it a joke. You are taking it a joke when you are seeing people being molested on the streets. You took it as a joke when, in practicality, you saw people coming to the voting points to carry the ballot boxes and tearing the ballot papers. You saw people damaging, burning ballot papers because they don't want evidence of their rigging. They know that after the writing, that we will request for these ballot papers, and they have to come and destroy it. And that was why a lot of people stayed away from this election. In Lagos, the same person that threatened people and police are calling him a joke. If such a threat comes from a certain quarters of the country, they will take it serious. But it's coming from a certain quarter, it became a joke. But if it comes from a certain person, it will no longer be a joke. It will be a serious matter that will even warrant immediate arrest. And that is the problem we have in this country. We feel that some people are untouchable. We feel that the law is made for some certain people. We feel that some certain people have grown wings, that they are above the law. Of course, that is why you can't hold a governor accountable when he's in power, because we feel he has immunity. It is the citizens of a country that should have immunity, not their leaders. It is the citizens of every nation that deserves immunity. That you don't just arrest a citizen without a process, to communicate why you are taking him off his family or off his house. But now in this case, we vote, all these people fighting to vote in a governor. The moment you vote in that governor, he's shut out from you. He has an immunity. You that supported him can be arrested, and he decides when you will be released. Immunity is not on you, but it's on the person you are voting, or you have voted. And that is why I kept wondering why some Nigerian youth don't want to open their eyes and understand the dynamics, that we can't continue to compromise the system. We can't continue to maintain the status quo, to do things, that even animals cannot do. I've seen where ants go in a line. But you tell human being, go in a line, this one will be going zigzag. Does it mean that ants now are more intelligent than human beings? And when they say that human beings are the most difficult people to control, it looks so real. And human beings that's supposed to have a reasoning faculty, and that is the only thing that puts us away from becoming animals. And we now behave like some of those animals that we are different from. So I wonder why you are the governorship candidate. Most of this thing is the politicians. I call them traditional politicians, professional politicians. They are the ones that perpetuate these evils because they come and share some money, and that is why they kept starving people, keeping people down from employment, keeping people away from empowerment, keeping people away from school, so that their intelligent quotient doesn't develop, for them to understand that we own this state, we own this country. If anything happens, it will happen to all of us. But we feel that if we lose this election, it's this man that loses, not knowing that it's all of us that have lost. If a good man is being voted in, it will benefit all of us, including those that you can call criminals or thugs that try to start that process. So our people need to get to that point where they understand that elections is not do or die affair. I can't imagine coming to a polling unit to fight anybody because I want to become a governor. I want to become a president. The excellent process that produces every leader is very, very important. Peter Obi, my presidential candidate, said it, that it is more honorable to have a clean process And that is why you should be called an honorable, because there's an honorable process that produces you. You are called His Excellency because there's an excellent process that produces you. In Nigeria, Enugu election was declared yesterday against the popular demand of the people, against what people voted. Abia would have been a very bloody incident that they just averted, because the margin was so much and they tried to upturn it, so they couldn't just manage the situation. They have to declare Alex yesterday. So
let's talk about that victory. When we talk, we normally talk about the ruling party and how there are shortcomings and so on and so forth. But in some of these places, the ruling party wasn't even a major contender. What do you make of places like Enugu and Abia, where you are alleging that some things were about to go wrong or did go wrong in some cases, but we can't even spot the party at the national there. Are we saying now that even amongst opposition, there's still these issues that the parties are trying to fight?
We have 18 political parties running this election. You can't call only APC the ruling party. We have some states that are under the control of PDP. We have some states also that are under the control of APC. So in the case of Abia, we have a ruling party, and we have the chief security officer of the state, which is under the ruling party. So it is the chief security officer of the state that gives command to the police formations in that state. And they seems to be loyal, even if he doesn't give them direct command, but they seems to be loyal, knowing fully well that they have been working in partnership with this same man, and maybe there has been some level of palm rubbing and relationship developed. So ordinarily, it's normal with human beings. They may want to protect the interests of that government in power because of some promises that have been made to them and all those stuff. So there is a government in power in Abia. We have PDP governor, there's a serving governor under PDP. So ordinarily, what we do in elections, we see it as a pride kind of thing. It's I'm leaving office, I want to, bring in my stooge. Let it be on record that after my governance, I made a governor. That was why this man in Rivers, did no manner of dancing in the naked, because he feels it's a pride. Wike, here's in Wike. He feels it's a pride that he must produce a governor for Rivers State, that every other governorship candidate is not qualified but his own governorship candidate. And he fought. He did all manner of illicit activities to make sure that his governorship candidate wins that election. So in Abia, we had such challenge, but the will of the people was so strong that it couldn't be suppressed. The will of the people were so resolute on the direction they want to go. Just like what happened in national election. Have it ever happened? What makes people believe that Peter Obi won this election is that who have ever broken Lagos? A third force, a party, 4 persons tweeting in a room. From tweeting, they won Lagos State. From tweeting. Who would ever believe that NMPP will stopped every other political party from getting tangible number of votes from Kano? Those are the wonders and mystery of 2023 general election. And that is a lesson to anybody who is a leader, to know that this power does not last forever. It's temporal. And when you have it, don't use it to intimidate the people, because it must slip away one day. So what happened? The victory in Abia is a well-celebrated victory for the party. For the first time, a party that has nothing to write home about now have a governor, and more governors will join through the courts. I'm sure of Enugu will get it back. We can't let it slip away. We now have 36 House of Representative members. We now have 7 senators. Are you getting this? And we are taking back our presidency because Peter Obi won that election, and we're already in the court. So Nigerians have to prepare their mind for a better Nigeria. We can't continue to fight to elect our leaders. No.
But can we expect now that you have one state that there will be, what I call it, intense scrutiny? Because we've all seen the videos of people celebrating and all that. and you can tell that, there's true belief that he will bring desired change. What's the mechanism in place to ensure? Because for a while, he's going to be able to ride on this feeling. I think, to be fair, even if he's not doing very well in the first couple of months or year, people will still keep believing that, we believe, and so on and so forth. So the issue is, what are those ways that you can hold them accountable? Because you made an analogy just now where once the governor wins, suddenly he has immunity and is separate from the people. So how can we ensure that he works and is held accountable?
If you look at the crop of people we have in Labour Party, look at their lifestyle, look at their character, it gives you an indication of the type of governance that you should expect from the government of the Labour Party. For example, our presidential candidate, you know his track record. He's the only governor that doesn't move with plenty convoy. He's the only governor that you can sit down with and discuss. He's the only governor that doesn't believe in sleeping in the most expensive hotels when he travels out with government money. He is. It's on record. Go and verify it. And look at former Governor Mimiko. The history is there. The records are there, what Mimiko did when he was governor under Labour Party. He did wonders in Ondo State. So, and the records are there for people to go. So, you know the secret? The secret is that Labour Party has a documented manifesto. That documented manifesto, it doesn't matter, the moment you are sworn in, the job starts. It's not like people that spend 8 months before they appoint minister. No. The moment the government of Labour Party comes on board, the job starts immediately. What you will now be talking about is maybe short-time goals, medium-time goals, and then long-term goals. But as for dividends of democracy, it starts the moment Labour Party government comes on board. There is no two ways about that.
So hopefully we'll be seeing a change, particularly in the issue of salaries.
Abia is celebrating because they have got the breath of fresh air. For the first time in Abia, a real-time technocrat is manning will be manning the government house. A real-time, with good track record, proven professional. You know the record of Oti when he was the MD of the bank. You know his record as a banker. So Oti brought sanity to banking sector in his time as the managing director of Access Bank or Diamond Bank then. You saw the wonders, the innovations that he brought on board, and he knows what it means to pay not just salary, but quality salaries. You know, just like that, when I see people talk about 30,000, 60,000 minimum wage, you know, when you have a government that understands the importance of good salary, you know, good salary will stop corruption. Because if you underpay me, if you're underpaid here, you'll be looking at minor things people will give you, you know, to make up. But the moment your salary is sumptuous, is something that can take care of your bills as a person, you do your job without any kind of form of a compromise. You know, so Alex Oti is coming to drive leadership at that level. You know, create. Is an entrepreneur. He will create the level playing ground needed by entrepreneurs. Alex Oti will develop Aba, and he kept saying it. The Aba has been the hub, economic hub around that area, industrial hub. There is a lot. Aba made shoes. Aba made all manner of things. This is something that requires simple attention, and you see, boom. You know, he mentioned it that he's going to do the roads to access Aba. Now you can't access Aba from Ikote Epene. You can't access Aba from Port Harcourt. You can't access Aba from Imo State. So how will Abia develop when there is no road to access the state? So he is going to hit the ground running from the first day, from that 29, you will see a new Abia. In fact, from now, only the news of Alex Oti winning have turned Abia.
Yes, we've seen some people saying they want to move there and buy lands. But, you know,
Yes.
we'll keep a keen interest there.
Hold us accountable.
Definitely.
PU is saying it, and every leader in Labour Party is saying it. Hold Labour Party accountable. That is why we say Nigerians should hold us accountable. And Nigerians came to hold us accountable, but the electoral umpire rejected such a distance from Nigerians.
All right, so we'll definitely do that. But now that you brought it up, I was about to go there. What's your take on the case filed by your presidential candidate, seeking multiple prayers, one of which is the FCT issue and so on and so forth? How much confidence do you have in that?
Well, that is a matter already in court, and for me, ordinarily, it's not subject for discussion because I'm not a lawyer. I can only rigmarole around it, but I cannot say per se, this is the reason for this in details. But since it's in the court, what I will do is that the moment the court starts sitting, I'll be sending out invitations for you to come to the court and listen to lawyers debate on this. But we have a viable case, I can assure you, in the court.
All right. Would this be happening across the states also?
Yes, some states where we have full evidence that we won an election will defend the mandate of the people. Of course, we must defend the mandate of the people. All
right. I want to bring to your attention in particular or some comments made by someone, that is the governor of Anambra State. Now, I'm sure you are aware, obviously, that Labour Party also won a scattering of State House of Assembly seats, across the country. So, in Anambra particularly, there's a trending video of the governor saying that, it will be costly for those who did not vote for ABGA. How do you hope to tackle, such?
Those are the type of rascality in governance that we will have to begin to caution ourselves and train. I'm even disappointed that such comment was coming from someone, a respected professor for that matter. Somebody that is very much enlightened, that have traveled wide, and he knows what governance is all about. Can president of US say that to any governor of a state? Can a governor of a state say that to the parliamentarians? It can't happen. But here, you elect a governor, he feels he's a lord. Okay, if we have 100, like in Imo, where the governor wrote 27/27. They write it. He wrote 27/27. Who is now the minority leader? What is the sweetness of democracy when there is no opposition? They don't even use common sense. You tell them that, look, this House of Assembly, we don't need 27 over. What political goal is he trying to score by writing 27/27 House of Assembly election, even where clearly people's mandates were denied? So for Soludo to make such comment, it means that he's an amateur politician. Of course, it will show. When the next election, we will know whether the people of Anambra have not had what he said or not. Because the next election will now convince Nigerians that truly what Soludo said is well accepted by Nigerians, or what he said was not accepted by the Anambra. Anambra people went to the polls. Out of 3 senators, Anambra people produced 2. Where was Soludo? If Soludo is in control of Anambra, he should have won the 3 senators to ABGA. Out of the number of House of Reps, Labour Party took, even in sitting rep members, Labour Party chased them away in Anambra. Where is he? Including his ABGA sitting rep members, Labour Party swept them away. In Assembly, despite all his campaign of calumny, intimidation, saying that those people will just be, they make mockery of themselves when they say some of these things. They make mockery of themselves. Because for a governor to come and tell people that citizens, are you a governor to your party or a governor to the state? So you are now telling me that because I'm not from ABGA, I'm not entitled to benefit from my governor's goodwill because I'm not from ABGA. For him to now come to a campaign and say that if you vote in an assembly member from Labour Party, he will not know what is happening in the state, he will just be eating his salary. That is I don't want to use a terrible language, but that is difficult for me to comprehend. I wonder how this man became governor, for him to be saying this kind of, making such kind of utterances. And I wondered his advisors. I'm sure Soludo doesn't have advisors. Because if Soludo do have advisors, they will tell him what to say and what not to say. So I'm sure he's a professor that doesn't have an advisor. He doesn't listen to anybody. I'm suspecting that.
All right, thank you so much, Prince Kennedy. Perhaps when we have more time, we'll be able to delve more into it. But thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.